Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about Concord, why it failed, how it failed. What is Concord? Concord is the $100 million failure from Sony for PlayStation. Now, this game, I did look up its budget multiple times. Every source I could find showed that the budget was around $90 to $100 million. So we can assume that this game was going to get good things. Despite that, it never topped over 1,000 players on Steam. Now, Steam numbers are tracked. We can find them. Sony, PlayStation, they can hide their numbers and not release player count, but we can see them on Steam. And the game failed spectacularly. This game is a 5v5 hero shooter that really no one ever thought was going to do good, and I had really never heard of. People joked about it a few times, but Sony seemed to think that this game was going to do very good. A lot of people seem to think that this game is going to do very good. For most of this video, we're going to talk about why it failed, and for the most part, I'm going to be real. I'm just going to make fun of it because I cannot believe that this is actually real and that people actually thought this was going to do good. Now, some of you guys have complained that my room is messy, blah, blah, blah. I have a cat, and she likes to hide in those boxes. Sometimes you'll see her back there, and she hides in there, and she stares at me. And I'm never going to move the boxes, because if she likes to do that, then that's fine with me, okay? I'm going to have her little cat pull out here. Some of you guys have said, clean up, clean up. Okay, I have a cat, okay? So shut up. Okay, so let's talk about how much people actually thought that this game was going to succeed, which makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense to me that anyone thought this game was going to succeed. Secret Level, Prime Video's animated anthology series is announced. Now, if you guys have seen Love, Death, and Robots, that's a series that came out on Netflix, and it's an anthology series set into kind of like one archetype, I guess we'll put it like that. So every episode is a different story made by different animators. One of them can be 2D animation, one of them can be 3D animation, one of them can be done in like a very anime art style, one of them can try to use like a realistic art style, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea? Each one of the stories is a different story. So their Love, Death, and Robots, it's got 3 seasons, various quality of the episodes, obviously, as you might imagine, but, you know, it was pretty well received. I liked it a lot. So they decided to do one on video games. So they announced that they would be using some of the biggest video games to be doing an episode on each one of these games, giving each of them a different story to do. They brought in some of the heaviest hitters in all video game history. Pac-Man, Warhammer 40,000, Mega Man, Unreal Tournament, Armored Core, Splunky. No, actually Splunky, by the way. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a little bit older than me, and I'm pretty old for video games at this point. I'm 34. Sorry for all you guys who are in your 30s now, but, you know, you're getting a bit old like me. But I know from my dad that Splunky was one of the biggest arcade games like of all times. I don't know what this Honor of Kings thing is. I guess I could have Googled it before doing this. Sifu, while not being massive, was like pretty well received. Dungeons and Dragons, the Outer Worlds, you know, but you get the idea here. So this game, which hadn't even been launched, was being included into this animated anthology. And this game has done bad, but don't just take my word for it, okay? The industry seemed to think that this game was going to do good and was going to be remembered. And let's be real. Look, after you watch this video, and you might watch some other videos on YouTube making fun of it, you will never hear of this game again. You will only hear of it as jokes from people who crap on the game. Even, by the way, I'm going to go back here. Even New World maintained a semi-decent player base. Even New World had more of a cultural impact, okay? I'm not saying it was a great game, but for a little bit, it was like a really big deal, okay? Concord's not getting that. It's getting a couple videos making fun of it. Don't just take my word for it, though. We can see here from Forbes, and I'm using Forbes' good word here, PlayStation's Concord did not break 700 players on Steam on launch. Okay. This is an article. I can show you the numbers myself, and I will, because I love looking at numbers. I love analyzing things like that. Concord bombed. It bombed really, really, really hard. It was really obvious to see how it would bomb. We can see here, Concord reveals cinematic trailer, PS5 games. Now, this right here managed to garner 299,000 views, which is actually not really that much when you actually compare video game kind of reveal trailers. But okay, great. So it did get some attention. Unfortunately, all you need to do here is scroll down and look at the comments left on the video, and we can see a very clear pattern. there are no positive comments. There's no one talking about how this game is good. And this is months and months ago. Okay, so this is before the game launched. Make Star-Lord green, make the green girl Asian, make the big guy a more different big guy. Instead of a tree and a raccoon, how about a big robot in a vacuum? Well, that just happened. Game Studio shuts down a few months after launch. Saying Guardians of the Galaxy, that's Protectors of the Commost. I copied your homework for the 10 times simulator. So let's be real here. The comments even on this older video were nothing positive. In fact, when you look at its gameplay reveal, while some people did look at this game and thought, maybe from this, maybe it's like a rip-off Guardians of the Galaxy, but hey, maybe it could be like a fun game to play. And then everyone realizes it's a 5v5 hero shooter. And what are the comments here? How do people react to this? How do people look at this? Oh, I just saw this, by the way. I want to, the common side effects from Adult Swim. Look at that. That looks really good. Go watch the trailer for that show. That looks really good. It's just totally off topic, but just, go do that. Okay. Concord looks like one of those fake games that are playing in the background of a movie or TV show. The most shocking thing about this trailer was that Sony left the comments open. It's like ordering Guardians of the Galaxy from Temu. Battleborn walks so Concord could stumble aimlessly off a cliff. Finally, Overwatch 0.5. So, look, let's just be real here. The community reaction to this game was that they were thoroughly whelmed. Okay, they were not overwhelmed. They were thoroughly, oh, okay, cool. So let's look at these stats here. Okay, the all-time peak 2 days ago was 697. They didn't even top 700 people. And this is on the weekends. You'd think maybe on the weekend the player count would go up. Well, no, because the player count goes down because you released a multiplayer 5v5 game. Now, let's be clear. Okay, a multiplayer 5v5 game means that you need people of various skill levels. With only 400 players, or even 200 down here, not only are you going to struggle to find a match, you're going to struggle to find a match that's any fun. Anyone who loads into this game and is even halfway decent at FPS games will just completely destroy the entire lobby and make everybody quit. So that's not great. But let's talk about something for a second here. Can we everyone come in here? Everyone talk with me for a second, okay? Overwatch seems to be doing quite fine. If I look at Overwatch, so we got all these timetables we can use, right? But when we look at Overwatch 2, we can see here that this game seems to be doing relatively fine. Let me update this so you can see it's a fresh page. Now, Overwatch is a 5v5 hero shooter that I tried to copy. Now, maybe, right, if they had launched this game at the exact right moment, it wouldn't have been such a joke. It would have been a little bit of a joke. Maybe people would have played it and then hated it. But now I don't really see any reason to play the game. As I mentioned earlier, the problem is with these sort of 5v5 games, you need a large player base in order to get a diverse skill roster so that people can actually enjoy playing the game. If you don't have that, then I'm not going to enjoy playing the game. If I go into these games, and I'm okay at FPSs, I'm not great anymore by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm okay, right? I could probably clear out a casual lobby. I could make people who just picked up this game for fun quit the game. But if anyone is even remotely good at the game, they're just going to completely stomp me into the dirt, okay? And that's kind of the problem. FPS games have a very large skill variety, okay? I'm like up here, but the people who are up here are going to make me in the middle look like I'm down here at the bottom. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's going to be pretty obvious you need a large player base. Now, let's look at Overwatch. You can see here that it did start pretty good. And these are its Steam numbers, right? It started pretty good, fell off a bit, and then it slowly managed to raise itself back up over time. To say Overwatch 2 is doing bad, it's not doing bad, it's doing just fine, and it's picking itself up, and it's going up and up and up. There doesn't seem to be a need for a 5v5 hero shooter. There doesn't seem to be a need for that, okay? This isn't a situation where everyone is slowly getting bored of World of Warcraft, and in comes Final Fantasy XIV to, get all the player base to go play them. This doesn't seem to be a situation like that at all. In fact, this seems to be a situation where there was no need for this game, so the game had to make an exceptional mark for itself, and it failed to do that. So let's move over here. There is another game, you might have heard of it. It's called Deadlock. It's Valve's attempt at a 6v6 hero shooter MOBA type game. I hope I'm remembering that right. I don't have an invite to it, but I've looked at some of it just to be sure. This game seems to also be coming out and is actually very highly reviewed and is doing pretty good for itself. Now, maybe it's a bit unfortunate for Concord that they released at a time where nobody wanted the game, but the game also doesn't seem to be very fun to begin with. And we'll go into some other things about the game here, so hold on here, okay? 5v5 shooters and these sorts of games need memorable characters, they need a memorable cast, and they need a good sort of gameplay. While Deadlock seems to be doing pretty good for itself, while Overwatch seems to be good for itself, Overwatch characters are very memorable. They're in a lot of films and things like that, and people seem to talk about them all the time, or at the very least watch them in moments of 15 or even 30-second breaks, okay? So in comes Deadlock, doing great, seems to be backed by Valve. Valve, nothing but positive things about Valve, by the way. The day Gabe Newell dies will be a tragedy for all video games, because I swear to you right now, Steam has been nothing but a blessing for video games. They've certainly brought new things to light, you know. Okay, so Steam is very, you know, fairly priced. It doesn't seem to price gouge or anything like that. It adds new features, and it seems to add every 5 or 6 years a new Steam game comes out with a very high quality seal to it, right? So when we look at it like that, and we look at, there was no hope. There was no hope ever for Concord. But let's talk about something else. I tried to look for all the Concord characters. Unfortunately, because this game is so unpopular, I tried to look at their official website. They don't really have one. I tried to look at anything. They don't really have one. There is basically nothing at all where I can see all the characters in this game. Unfortunately, the best I could do is this PC Games article, which is very unfortunate because these images of the characters are very low quality, but that's the best I could go on, right? There was nothing else for me to go on. I couldn't do anything else, right? So I apologize that these pictures are going to be low quality, but this is kind of the best I could do. So let's talk for a second here, okay? Let's talk for a second about these amazing, outstanding Concord characters, okay? I did mention that a 5v5 hero shooter, at the very least a hero shooter, these sorts of games, whether you're a MOBA or a hero shooter, whether you're League of Legends or Overwatch or anything like that, if I'm not making my own character, I need these characters to be memorable, okay? Memorable, such as robot. I don't know what this is, but this is just robot. It's just robot. I don't know who thought this was going to be a good idea, but just robot. I mean, if I looked away for a second, could you okay. Do this. Do me a favor here. Look away for a second, cover your eyes, do anything like that, and tell me anything memorable about this character. Without looking back on it, okay, without opening your eyes, tell me anything memorable about this character. What did you remember? What's notable? How would you describe this robot in a way that you could differentiate it from a different character? That if you describe the robot, someone would go, oh yeah, the character from Concord, right? I could describe a character from League of Legends, or I could describe a character from anything like that, and people would go, oh yeah. But this, I don't know. Let's move on. You could probably describe this character to other people. You could probably describe the 80s black woman with the pom-poms, the purple pom-poms, and the shoulder pads. You could probably describe this character. People won't remember her because Concord's going to be forgotten in a week. But look, at the very least, you could describe them and you could memorize them. My only question here, and my serious question here, who is asking for this character? Because I question sometimes the sanity of developers. The 80s might be remembered for a lot of people. A lot of people remember the 80s. Are those the sort of people buying this game? Are the people buying this game trying to get an 80s aesthetic character? Now, you're sort of Axel Foley looking character. I know Axel F just had a thing on Netflix. I didn't watch it. It looked terrible. I don't think it got reviewed very well. But you're kind of Axel F looking character. Is that, and that's, okay, that's from Beverly Hills Cop. It was a very popular movie in the 80s. So I'm just gonna, who is it? There was, is that, sorry, I'm a little bit distracted here because I'm just trying to describe it for you guys. It's Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, John Ashton. Any of these names ringing a bell for you guys? You might know Eddie Murphy, I guess, but that's about it, right? Like I'm trying to make a point here in that your average dude has no idea about Axel F, okay? And I don't think in particular that the audience is here for a character like this. I'm sorry, I'm going to give some legitimate criticism here. Axel F is obviously That's a male character from the 80s. It is a black character. It does kind of have the same vibe going on here. But why wouldn't you at the very least make it like an XLF ripoff? Why did we make it a woman? I'm not trying to say, female characters can't do great, but here's a blunt truth for some of you guys who don't actually know this. Men typically play male and women characters. Women typically just play female characters. Okay, now here's something that a lot of you guys also don't realize. Women also tend to gravitate more towards pretty characters or sometimes sexy characters. Okay, they don't, and by sexy I don't mean things like the giant ass cheek of ass kind of characters, but like sexy, kind of playful sexy, if you know what I mean. So just let me clear that up here. At either rate, this character doesn't seem to fill any demographic. The XLF fans from the 80s, the people in their 30s and 40s, 50s, they're probably not playing this character. There's a legitimate, I'm gonna move on because I could criticize this character for 10. I don't even know what's going on here. I don't know who, at least with the previous character, I knew what they were going for. They were going for like an XLF vibe. They were going for the 80s vibe. They were like hyping up that. It's just, I didn't really understand why make it a woman, because it seems like your target demographic was being split with that, right? But what is this? What is going on here? I assure you, this is an actual character who is very much one of the pinnacle 16 characters in the game. I'm not going to spend much time here. I don't think I need to spend much time here. What is going on with the color palette? At least with the 80s, they were going for that like outrageous 80s color palette for the character. What's going on here? We got a very 80s kind of like a teal with a like a magenta. We got the bright orange yellow kind of going on here. What? I don't understand who this was made for. What audience is this for? Men, women, neither of them seem to prefer a character like this, and there's nothing memorable or cool about them. How could you describe this character in a way? Once again, close your eyes. How would you describe this character? That kind of astronaut-y looking stupid 80s character that was also an older woman, I guess. Like, it just, who? And what is this? Even if this was an aesthetic. Okay, look, I'm gonna be real with you. Even if you're trying to go for this aesthetic, this is like, who decided to go for this? Who decided this was a good idea? Like, I beg you for anyone to explain to me that if you actually think this looks good, if this looks playable, if you're playing the game to go play this character, go tell me. Because he looks like a Polynesian character, fat Polynesian big man. Okay, great. So we've tried to diversify our roster by making an extremely generic character. At what point? Okay, I have a serious question here, and this will be a recurring problem throughout this. Okay, throughout me going through all these characters, this will end up being a recurring problem. At what point does trying to be diverse but non-offensively diverse mean that you're actually starting to be a little bit racist because you're just making bland caricatures? Okay, so for the black woman, you just gender bent Axel Foley, right? That's all you did, right? Like, what? Huh? So you just took one of the most popular black characters from the 80s, gender bent them, and that was your great design? Like, you couldn't be any more original or creative than that? For your Polynesian character, you just made him a big guy, a big Polynesian man. Like, ooh, how creative. And not only that, like, what did you even do here? You made him look dumb. He looks dorky. He looks like a nerd. He looks like a loser. He does. He looks like a loser. I'm sorry, I can't put this any better. The dude looks like a loser. What are these goggles? What is this coloring? Why does dude have bright orange here? I don't know, man. Let's move on. So, okay, once again, this is going to kind of go into my, at what point does trying to be so diverse start to actually feel a little bit racist? So you wanted an Asian woman. Okay. So what did you do? You made her look like the stereotypical older Asian mystical woman. If she has mystical powers, I'll just off myself right now, okay? But what? Okay, now look, she kind of looks like she comes from I don't know, Marvel. She kind of looks like a Marvel character. I will agree with that. She looks like a Marvel character, but like, how am I going to describe this character? Okay, she's got a gun arm, so I get that. I'm going for that, right? But like, what am I supposed to take away from this character? What? I don't understand here. What? I can't even spend much time on this because it's so unappealing. I don't know a better way to put it. It's so unappealing. It's like they wanted a character from Doctor Strange, but they couldn't figure out really how to make them interesting, but they had already committed so much to the idea of like the older Asian lady that they just said, screw it, just chuck her in. Well, are we gonna make her cool? I don't know. Gun arm. I don't know. Does she have a gun arm? No, it looks like she's just holding a gun. Okay, so she's older Asian lady with gun. Cool. That's your design. That's great. Cool. You did it, guys. Okay. One. Dude, okay. Even if I don't understand here. Even if this design was appealing, which it's not, why the blue lipstick? Why just randomly as hell drag the entire character away and have blue lipstick? Now, I'm going to be real here. This very much looks like the Big Bertha type of character that is kind of common, and I'm not really sure why it's common, because it is inevitably one of the least popular characters in any game ever. In League of Legends, you had the Big Bertha character was like is one of the least popular characters in the game. In Overwatch, the Big Bertha character is one of the least popular characters in the game. So it's like they needed a really big, tanky woman who looks like she's on steroids with a minigun. They needed her for our game too. Everyone else has one. We need one too. But I don't understand. Once again, I don't understand who this character is made for. Okay. Men generally prefer men, but will be willing to play women. That's just the stats. I'm not going to go look those up for you right now, but you probably understand that that's more of a thing. Women generally prefer female characters, and they generally prefer the more cutesy, kind of sometimes sexy characters. But like, who is this for? I don't understand the Big Bertha character, and I don't understand why it keeps getting made. Now, look, if you want diversity, and I'm not saying diversity like racial diversity, I'm saying like diversity in like character creation. That's great, and I think that's, cool. Try to make diverse casts and things like that. But then you at the very least need to make them look cool. Now, look, I'm totally for badass female characters. If you add that, I'll go play it, right? But does this look like a badass female character? She looks confused why she's even here. She looks like, guys, am I wearing the suit right? She doesn't look confident. She doesn't look like she even belongs in the armor. And that's one of the biggest problems in these sorts of games. They always tread the line of making them like, basically, the Big Bertha character treads the line of doing two different things improperly. One, they try to make them look, and not look, but like feel too cutesy. So like you have this big roided up female character, but they just act super cutesy, which just drags me out of it. It doesn't really make sense. But two, the problem is they take one of the most toxic masculine male characters you could ever imagine. They take a character that like nobody would ever enjoy. Like he says and does things that you're just like, dude, you're just straight misogynistic, right? And you just do not like this character. But then they make them a woman and they go, aha, now you like them, right? Because now instead of being sexist against women, they're sexist against men. And you're like, still no. That doesn't appeal to me still. And both these tropes, in my opinion, I think the cutesy trope will end up being more popular just because it's cutesy. But the other trope I've seen happen a lot, totally unpopular. At either rate, there's just nothing to this color palette that's appealing at all. There's nothing about the character that's memorable. It looks like a first draft. They had nothing cool or interesting about the character. The helmet sucks. The shoulder pad sucks. It's like a Space Marine ripoff, except it doesn't even look badass like a Space Marine. Here's my opinion. If you do a character like this, go full Samus Aran on them, okay? Just make a badass female, full armored character who runs around with, I know Samus's suit is like very much more feminine these days, which I totally disagree with, okay? I think Samus's suit should be ambiguous as hell. I think that you shouldn't even be able to tell if Samus is a man or woman. They're wearing a full suit of armor, right? But I think that you make the suit, you make it ambiguous. Maybe you add maybe a little bit on the chest so like you can kind of sort of tell, but really you don't need to do that. That's like the most I'm willing to compromise on, okay? But other than that, you just add this character, they're badass, and they just happen to be a woman. And that, in my opinion, would be the ideal way to go about this. But it's like they wanted to show that it was still a woman because it's like they wanted their brownie points. Like, look, guys, we're diverse. Okay, you don't get brownie points for being diverse if you're trying to show us that you're being diverse. Make a cool badass female character, okay, and then we can get somewhere, okay? But yeah, I don't know, dude. Nothing. That's absolutely nothing. So once again, I have nothing to say about this. I don't even understand what there's just like you have 16 characters and this is one of them. What is happening? Once again, honest to God, name the character. It's like a middle-aged Asian woman in a robe. Oh, wow. And they have a gun, you say, in a shooter game. Wow. Oh, that's memorable. I could remember that. Nothing memorable, nothing cool, nothing to write home about. A complete slop. Let's move on. What? What the hell is happening in my life? Why? What took me in my life to where I was actually witnessing this? I don't understand, dude. Look, I play mostly real-time strategy games, sometimes RPGs, sometimes action sorts of games. This is a stupid generic enemy that I would kill 500 of. This would be in a game that goes to like level 50. These would be like your level 3 to 4 enemies that you just kill hundreds of. You're just AoEing them all down, okay? This would be if you're playing a real-time strategy game. These would be the generic enemies that you kill to level up your main hero, okay? This is not a main character. I don't even know what this is, man. And it's like, okay, look, it's like they added the little undershirt here, or maybe that's like a bra strap kind of thing here. Maybe they added that to try to like sex up the character a little bit, but like, what are they doing? So they're showing midriff, but they're not really going for it. They're trying to make her cute, but her face looks terrible. It doesn't look appealing at all. It looks absolutely terrible. They're trying to do elf ears because maybe they're trying to get that elf mystique in. They went with a green skin, but it's like the least goddamn appealing of green ever. This doesn't look like cute or sexy green skin character. This looks like she's sick. It looks like she's sick. It looks like she just threw up on herself, dude. And then the hair, I don't know what's going on with the hair colors, dude. Okay, here's like an actual serious question. Did someone colorblind make this game? That's like an actual question. If someone who actually could not see colors made this game, I would fully believe it. Okay, you know what this is like? You know what this is like? This is like someone played Overwatch once, 8 years ago, played the character whose name got changed, and then they were like, we need that character in our game, but just make it look terrible. Just make it look terrible. Give him a teal coat. Give him an awful hat. Look, Black Cowboy has been done before, and it's a cool trope, and people like it. It's kind of a popular thing. Black Cowboy, people like Black Cowboys, okay? They carry off the look. Typically in any of the media, it carries the look off very well. So like you have in League of Legends, one of the most popular skins for Lucian is just his Wild West skin. It's very good. The look goes great, okay? And it's like they somehow found a way to take a look, to take an aesthetic that is very popular and is always pulled off well, and just shit all over it. Just destroy it. Just, why a teal coat, dude? Why? Who decided on this? I'm going back. They're colorblind. What? Robot lady in a suit, but the suit is the worst goddamn color scheme you've ever seen in your life. I'm not going to spend more time on this. This isn't worthy of more of my time. The second I change the image, the second the image goes to a different image, I will literally never remember this character. I don't even know who it was. Okay, so we've got our first memorable character. Mushroom Girl. Okay, honestly, this is the first design I look at where I think to myself, okay, you know what? Maybe this could work. Maybe one or two more iterations and you could get somewhere. But for now, this is at least workable. You could put this in the game. If you had a game of characters of at least this, I could work with it. So here we have an aesthetic mushroom character. She has colors that a mushroom might have. You know, it looks believable. This isn't, we don't have random teal here. She isn't wearing purple makeup to just kind of destroy the look. We have a character here who at the very least looks like something. This looks like a character. I could play a character like this, okay? You know what? She pulls it off. This looks great. Honestly, this is like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, okay? This is fine. This is good. You could put this in other games. This would be great. Okay. Moving on, because there's not really any. I think it looks fine. Okay, what? Dude, they really thought they were cooking with this one. They gave him that look. They thought they were cooking. They thought they made this character and they were cooking. They were like, "Hey man, we got our own Star Lord." You know what this is like? This is like Sky King. I don't even know, dude. It's like the dude is like the space ruler, okay? I don't even know what's going on with this one. It's like they took Star-Lord. They made him an alien. I mean, at the very least, they tried with like the spikes, you know? They tried with like the spikes. It looks like his coat is like a little bit cut as well. So, you know, it looks like he's kind of got like a vibe. You know, he wore a coat, but it got like cut off by his arm spikes. I'm not sure what the arm spikes, you know, serve a purpose for. But at the very least, we got a character with like a complete design here. You know, it kind of fits. And then they just gave him the worst goddamn clothing I've ever seen in my life. It's like sometimes this game goes for an 80s vibe, but it's like they don't understand anything. Like, why the vest? Why the vest? Honestly, I think this character would actually, just like imagine it in your head, I think it would actually look better if the vest was just gone. If they took the vest off, I think this character would actually be improved. That's my actual honest to God opinion right now. And they thought they gave him that look, dude. They thought they were cooking so hard, and they just all they did, they just dumped salt. They saw someone else salt their food, and they just poured a whole goddamn bottle of salt in there. What the hell is this? What is this, dude? Okay, so it looks like they're trying to go for astronaut rocket girl. So it's like someone looked at Samus Aran and they were like, okay, guys. Okay, so we got Samus Aran. How could we do that? Okay, so we got a badass, full armored character, and she's got a rocket launcher. Okay, so far so good. We want to make her look weirdly sexed up without even being sexed up. So make it look like she's got a shortcut top with like, you know, the bottoms, so she shows off her waist, but it's not actually showing off her waist because she's wearing a suit. Give her a helmet that looks 2 sizes, 3, 5, 10 sizes too big. Okay, make it a very weird, bland. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even know how to make something a bland color palette. How do you color armor in a bland way? I don't know, but this is bland. The helmet, I swear to God, the second I close my eyes, I can barely even remember what that helmet looks like. And that's a problem. None of these characters look memorable. We got a rocket launcher that literally just looks like it comes from Quake or Doom. It's not like unique in any way. It's literally just rocket launcher with 4 rockets. Pew pew. I'm assuming it's a rocket launcher. Maybe it's a net gun. I don't know. I hope not, but it's probably a rocket launcher, right? And that's it. That's the character. That's it. That's okay. What at all is appealing? I beg anyone to tell me what the hell is going on here. Let's move on. Okay, so first off, we have the first character who actually looks like something. Okay, now Mushroom Girl, she did look fine, but this looks like a character I could actually play and I would not hate. I'm not sure I would love him, but I wouldn't hate him. Maybe a different paint job. So we just got a generic beast kind of character, right? I'm assuming this is a sort of melee weapon. Dude probably runs in. I mean, I can tell visually, I can see what's going on here. He runs in, he's tanky, he's maybe a bit slow. He possibly has some sort of jumping move. He hits people with melee. Look, anyone who played Concord, if I have it on the ball, good job, okay? If I missed it, I have no idea what's going on with these developers. Looks like he's got grenades somewhere here. So what are the problems with this character? First off, the red is clashing, the yellow is clashing. I'm not sure why there's so many colors going on right here, right? Like, why do we have so many colors going on right now? But at the very least, visually, this is like a character. I could look at him, I could see what he's doing. I kind of like him. Maybe they should have done a little bit more to individualize him, you know, make him a character that I could actually kind of see. Like, give him some discernible features. Like, okay, so he's got fur, but it's only some fur. It looks like he's kind of going for that big bodybuilder kind of look here. We got spikes on the chin, but there's not that many. So we don't really have that much going on to like make him like an independent kind of character. He relies on a trope that's already existed to exist himself. So I'm going to move on, but at the very least, hey man, I can't make fun of it. It does look fine. Okay, so here we got white dude with a gun. Okay, that's our character, everybody. So it's like someone came into work one day. They were like, okay, dude, white guy with a gun. Everyone looks at him. They're like, greatest idea I've ever heard in my goddamn life. Bill, you've done it again, okay? White man in his 30s with a rifle. You have done it. You are the smartest individual we have ever hired at this company. You're almost as good as Ugly Samus. What is this? Okay. What is going on here? So we have a shoulder pad, one shoulder pad. We have some sort of mic or something. Looks like he's got a walkie, some sort of, he's got headphones, noise protection maybe for his gun. And then he's got a rifle. It looks like the most generic goddamn rifle you've ever seen in your life. Some sort of sidearm right here. We can see that. And that's it. That's a character. White dude with gun. He's even got the generic white guy hairstyle. He's got nothing unique or discernible about him. He's got the it's recently shaved, but it's grown back a little bit, right? He's got the stubble look going on there. And that's it. That's the entire character. Honestly, it's amazing to me that Overwatch managed to make a character who was... In Overwatch, Soldier was literally designed to be generic, and yet he still looks less generic than this guy who was designed to be a character. Amazing, outstanding, incredible. I only hope the next thing can only be as amazing as White Guy with Gun. Black Woman. Honestly, these are my favorite characters so far. Old Asian lady, white guy with gun, black woman who doesn't smile and instead looks a little bit stern, in fact. Amazing, outstanding. I wonder how they possibly came up with this unique design. She has, once again, no discernible features. She just looks like she was out shopping one day and for some reason they put her in a video game. That's it. That's the design. What is there to make fun of here? What is there to even talk about here? It's like the developers... Okay, I'm going to say it like this. It's like the developers wanted to include diversity, but they had no creativity or anything. And they thought that by just including diversity, it would make their game better. Like, okay, I've seen this problem a lot. In movies, video games, things like that. Basically, here's what's happening. They have diversity in their movie or the game or whatever, and then they make the most terrible generic goddamn writing or character designs or whatever. They do the most terrible thing you've ever seen in your life. Then they use the diversity as a shield. So basically, they make a product that is unappealing to everybody. Then they try to use liberals as a shield to block off criticism from the product. Liberals don't enjoy this because I don't enjoy being used as a shield to try to block criticism to a shitty product. Meanwhile, conservatives or even people in the middle don't like it because they don't like black women. So... So just because you included the most generic goddamn black woman of all time does not mean that your game is good. In fact, it is worse off for it. Generic black woman and generic white guy are terrible. No one will remember these, and I swear to God, you've already forgotten what white guy with a gun looked like, didn't you? Okay, let's move on. Oh, that's it. That was every character. So we had two. We had two characters that I think were actually somewhat inspired and look cool. Mushroom Girl and Beast Guy. Beast Guy is just a typical trope. He's just Beast Guy. Beast Guy's been done a lot, but that's fine. Beast Guy's at least something, right? And then Mushroom Girl, okay, I get it. She probably has some sort of mushroom powers, maybe damage over time, maybe area denial, things like that. Like, we got a theme going. Things could work on here. I'm hoping that's what they went with her abilities. At any rate, boy, sure does seem like a big failure to include Concord. Now, I'm not even sure how they're going to write a good story about Concord. I'm going to be real with you guys, okay? I'm probably going to skip this episode because if you have the most generic, boring goddamn characters I've ever seen in my life, if these are your characters and you're trying to make a story out of them, I don't care. Nobody cares. Make good characters. Make interesting characters. Anyway, why did Concord fail? It's pretty goddamn obvious. One, the gameplay sucks. I haven't even gone over the gameplay. Two, I just went over every goddamn character individually, and they are all the worst characters ever imaginable. Okay. Thank you all for watching another video of why did this game fail. I think we're going to talk next episode. I mean, you guys can leave me comments on what you want the next thing to be on. What I kind of want to do is talk about Sins of a Solar Empire 2 and what they're going to need to do to succeed, because I want to see that game succeed, but I feel like they launched too quickly. We'll see. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and as always, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.